Hello friends, this is Meenu. Welcome back to my channel StoryTale. Today I'm gonna be talking about top 10 popular series that I wanna read in 2021. There are so many popular series that I have not read, and the two series that I've tried in 2021 have been pretty good. So I do wanna give more chances to these kind of series because the books in these series have been hyped so much and they are so popular that I do wanna give it a try and see what the hype is all about. These series basically consist of fantasy series, and fantasy series is something that I have not been more inclined towards. I am more of a vampire girl. I like vampire books or something like paranormal books like Black Dagger Brotherhood series or Shadowhunter series or Immortal After Dark series. These are the series that I have loved and I have read. But these series, which are basically fantasy series, I have not been inclined into, but I am willing to give it a try and see how this goes. Some of these books are trilogies or have more than 4 or 5 books, so I am a little bit reluctant in picking up books with more books in their series because there's a good chance that I may not like it, because sometimes when the series get dragged on, I do not like it. Like it happened with Shadowhunter series, the books were dragged on so much that I didn't like that anymore. So I do not want the same from these series, but still I'm willing to give it a try because I'm kind of hopeful and I do wish that these series are good because they are so popular and so hyped up. So I really wish they are good. So now without wasting any more time, let's jump into the video. So the first book on my list is the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. According to the book description, the world here is divided into two blood categories, red and the silver. Red blood are commoners and the silver blood people are actually elite because they do possess some supernatural powers. But our main character Maya Burrow, even though her blood is red, she does possess some kind of supernatural powers, and that is what makes her so different, and that is why she was declared Silver Princess and now she has to marry Silver Prince. She's also fighting against the silver regime, and that is why she has aligned herself with the silver guard, and that is where her whole journey starts. And the way she fights the silver regime and everything is all the story about. I do not know much more about the story because I'm getting new into it, so still the premise does seem a little bit interesting, so let's see if I'm gonna like it or not. The second book on my list is the Selection series by Kiera Cass. The story is about America singer who is selected to compete for the crown, where she meets Prince Maxon. Gradually she starts to question all the plans she has made for herself and realizes that the life she has always dreamed of may not compare to a future she has never imagined. Even though I'm not that much inclined towards the plot of this book, still the cover and everything does look a little bit interesting because it does says that it has all the glitter and the gowns, and that is something a girl always loves. So I think that's gonna be something interesting to read. Many people have not loved after third book of the series, but still I'm willing to give it a try because I do want to see what the hype was for the first and the second book. Anyway, I'm a sucker for beautiful dresses and beautiful princess. The third book on my list is the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. I have been in love with Cassandra Clare ever since reading Chain of Gold because I loved that book. I loved all the characters in it. Even though I have read Shadowhunter series, I'm not big fan of it. I liked it, but I did not love it. I loved the TV show much more. But other than that, I loved Chain of Gold so much. I loved everything about it. And though I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to read other her of series, and I'm particularly not inclined towards Bane Chronicles, but other than that, I am willing to give this book a try because I'm pretty sure I'm going to love it because it happens right before the events of Chain of Gold, and I am actually very excited to read this. And even though I do know about the main spoiler of the book, I am still excited for it and I'm still willing to give it a read. In the Infernal Devices series, we are going to read about Tessa Gray and Will Harrendale, who were parents of James and Lucy Harrendale, and I loved James and Lucy Harrendale, and even I loved both of these characters in the Chain of Gold series, so I am very much excited about reading them in this series. And I know that it is going to be a triangle, and I know who wins and who ends up together in the end, but still that is not going to stop me from reading this series. The fourth book on my list is Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I have read recently Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer. It was her first attempt at contemporary romance and I did not like it. It was not that good of a book. It was an okay kind of a book. There was nothing great about it. I do not think that her attempt was very good. But this series, Lunar Chronicles, has been her famous series of all time, and I'm actually willing to give it a try. This book is kind of a mix-up between a paranormal romance and a science fiction. It is more of a retelling of our fairy tales that we have read and we have grown with. So I think that is a very interesting premise. I do like retellings. So the first book is about, I think, Cinderella, because the book named is Cinder. I do not know much about the plot or the story, but still I am gonna read it because it does sound very interesting. And even though Instant Karma was a fail, I think I'm gonna like this. The fifth series on my list is Undead by Mary Janice Davidson. This is vampire series which I love. I have never read it. This has been on my list for a very long time. I have somehow never been able to read this. This is also a funny and humorous book, so I am actually very excited about this, and I especially love vampires, so of course I'm gonna read this. The story is about Betsy Taylor, who loses her job and somehow ends up in a car accident, and that is how she becomes a vampire. And the worst thing for her is that everyone says that she is some sort of destined vampire queen who is supposed to fight this evil vampire Bela Lugosi, and she is also drawn to this another sexy vampire. And I think this is just the perfect book for me because the story is very interesting and I love a sexy vampire. I just love them. I just love to read about them. So I think this book is gonna be something that I actually love, and especially this is funny, so I think I'm gonna like it. The sixth series on my list is the Cruel Prince series by Holly Black. This is again one of the most popular series. It is a fantasy read, of course. The story is about Jude, whose family has been killed right before her eyes, and now she has been thrown into this world of fays and magic where she is the human trying to survive. And this is not an easy journey for her because Prince Cardon, who I do not know why but hates her and wants to just make life difficult for her, and that is why I think is the title of the book, which is The Cruel Prince, because he is very cruel. But of course I do draw a line between cruelty and kindness. You cannot be just plain cruel to somebody and just do wrong, and one day you just have a change of heart and you just wanna rectify everything and you just say you were cruel because you liked somebody. I do not think that is something that I do like, because if you're just cruel, you're just cruel. If you're a bully, you're a bully. You cannot just say that I do feel love for you and still I am being cruel to you because that is my nature. That is not justifiable for me. So I think that is gonna be my problem with Cardon here, but I'm not sure. I've not read this book much. I've just read few chapters in, so I do not know how I'm gonna feel about the main characters here, but still the way this book started, I kind of liked it. I enjoyed it, so let's see how this one goes. The seventh series on my book is the Ramchand series by Amish Tripathi. I have liked Amish Tripathi's series, the Shiva trilogy, and even though I have issues with that book, still it was a good series and I like the mixture of myth and science, and I think that is the same thing that is going to happen here in the Ramchand series. This is going to be Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Ravan and everyone that we have known from the mythology that we have read. And this is of course based on Ramayana and every story about it, but of course it has some sort of a modern twist, and I think that is going to be very interesting to read. The thing about trade, money and the past and everything was not present in Ramayana, so I think that is going to be very interesting thing to read in this series, and I'm actually kind of excited about this. Like I've said in all my earlier videos that I have not been fair to Indian authors. I have not read that many Indian author books, and I do want to rectify that in 2021. I do want to read more. So if you have any suggestion for me, please mention in the comments down below, because I would love to know the Indian authors that I should actually read, because it has been a little bit difficult for me to find books that are actually good. I have been searching for a very long time, but somehow I was not able to stumble upon any good series. So if you have any, do let me know in the comments down below. Number 8 series on my list is Graceling Realm series by Kristin Kishore. The story is about Katsa, who is a Graceling, the people who has some sort of supernatural abilities, and even though she is king's niece, her life is not of privilege. She is more like a king's thug. Throughout the book, she is gonna learn more about her grace and a secret that is gonna destroy all the 7 kingdoms while she is falling for this prince called Po. And I think that is again a very interesting story, but a little bit similar to other stories. I do not know why, but some of the fantasy series do sound very similar. They have this female character who is very strong and very powerful, and then she has to fight this whole kingdom and everyone that she knows, and that is somehow the premise of not all but few of the fantasy series that I have listed here. They do have some kind of same premises, but I think the things that differentiate most books is the way they are written, the way characters are being told, and the story is written. I think that is how it separates from each other. So I think that is gonna be different in each other book that I'm gonna read, and these books are popular and many people have loved it, so of course there must be something that people actually lean towards, so I'm actually very excited about that. The 9th series on my list is Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. Sarah J. Maas is one of the most controversial authors, and I'm not fully sure why, but I have loved her series A Court of Thorn and Roses, and that is why I'm willing to give this series a try. Even though this has many books in this series, but still I am willing to give it a try because I did like those books and I did like the characters. So I'm hoping that these books are similar and these books have some great characters. And even though people have not liked after 3 or 4 books, but still I'm gonna see if that works for me or not. Throne of Glass series is about Selena, who has been imprisoned in the caves of Endover until she is saved by the Crown Prince. Prince Dorian offers her freedom on one condition: she must act as champion in a competition to find a new royal assassin. But of course, everything is not as easy as it sounds. It's gonna be difficult for her, and it is also a little bit boring, and there's a love triangle. Prince Dorian starts to show a little bit interest in her, but she is more inclined towards Captain Westfall, who kind of understands her more. That is what is written in the book description. I do not know, this is gonna be a triangle again, like A Court of Thorn and Roses. That was also a triangle, but we have known who she was gonna end up from the first book, and I do not know what I'm gonna figure out in this book. Let's see. But like I said, if the characters are as well written as the ones in A Court of Thorn and Roses, I'm gonna love this series. If not, then I do not know what's gonna happen. The last series on my list has its own kind of 3 sub-series in it. The series is Grishaverse series by Le Bardugo. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing the surname wrong, but that is something that I do all the time anyway. There are 3 sub-series in this main series: Shadow and Bone trilogy, which is gonna be a Netflix series soon, and I'm gonna read that before that series comes out because I do want to compare it. Second series is Six of Crows trilogy, and the third one is King of Scars duology. Of course, there are 8 books in the series. The second one of King of Scars is gonna come in March, I think, and I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna be able to finish the series before the book comes out. These series have been hyped up so much in booktube community and everywhere that I've known, and people have actually loved it. There's so much raving about this book, and I'm excited most about this series actually, especially Six of Crows series. I've heard that this is especially very good series, so I'm actually looking forward to it. So according to the book description given by Goodreads, it is set primarily in the fiction country of Revka. There is a form of magic that is called the small signs. Those who can wield it are called Grisha. I think that is why it is known Grishaverse. Powerful practitioners considered to be part of an exclusive class. Those who do not possess this power are called Ozatska. I'm not good with the pronunciation, you know that, and that is something, a different language altogether, so I'm not gonna even try that. And these people who do not possess any power works as soldiers, laborers or shopkeepers, and that is the whole gist of this Grishaverse. I have heard that Le Bardugo writes her characters very well, and even her world building is very good, so that is why I am more excited about this series and everything. That is why I'm going to read all the books in this series, and I'm actually hopeful that these books are not going to disappoint me, because I have this feeling about this book and I do not know why. So let's see if that turns out well or not. So those are the series that I want to read in 2021. I do not know how many of these I'm going to be able to read or finish in 2021, but I'm going to give it my best, and I'm going to try to read more other fantasy series if something comes up. And if you have any recommendations for me, please write in the comments down below. Till then, I'm going to try to read and finish as many books as possible, and of course bring the reviews for you in the next year. Until then, do not forget to like, comment and subscribe, and of course do not forget to click that bell icon if you want to get notified of my videos. Until then, have a happy new year.